Hasan once bragged he'd take his camera anywhere, no matter the risk. But this time, that swagger landed him in the middle of a protest where real people were risking more than just a few Twitch donations. What started as an IRL stream turned into a cringe fest that had even his own fans rolling their eyes.
Flashbangs cracked in the air like thunderclaps, and Hasan grinned at the chaos. He probably thought he looked like a war correspondent. Camera in hand, backpack slung over one shoulder, and a Twitch chat feeding him lines. In his mind, he was making history. In reality, he was an internet celebrity inserting himself into a scene he barely understood. He was in the middle of Los Angeles, at a protest meant to challenge ICE raids that had torn apart communities. But if you listened to Hasan, it was all about him, his hair, his angles, his reactions. "Dude, that flashbang just messed up my hair," he muttered, like he was in a sitcom rather than a serious protest. Hasan's rise to fame wasn't exactly built on nuance. He'd ranted and raved about politics from his gaming chair, attracting an army of fans who loved his passion. Until they realized passion doesn't always equal wisdom. Over time, his streams became less about the news and more about the performance. So when the ICE protests ignited, Hasan saw a golden opportunity. A real protest, real riot cops, real flashbangs, perfect content for the next Twitch highlight. He told his viewers he was there to show the truth, but every time he spoke, it felt less like reporting and more like a guy who needed to prove he was relevant. It was activism by selfie stick. About halfway through his chaotic broadcast, Hasan decided the only thing better than streaming a protest was dragging someone else into it. Enter Asmongold, a fellow Twitch titan who, unlike Hasan, was at home streaming and growing his empire without needing a riot shield. Hasan leaned into his camera, his voice trembling with fake heroism. "I want to see Asmongold out here. I want to see him stand with the people, or stand with the National Guard." He delivered it like a bombshell, but it landed like a wet fart. Even his chat wasn't sure what to make of it. Why would Asmongold, a guy known for commenting videos chillin' at home, suddenly drop everything to play riot cop or revolutionary? Asmongold's response was savage, delivered with that trademark smirk that made his chat go wild. Sitting back in his chair, he barely blinked before dropping the line that would bury Hasan's challenge. "If I go, I'd go with the National Guard to arrest everybody standing on the highway. Yeah, I think that sounds great. This guy's smart." His tone was half laugh, half daggers. An effortless takedown that framed Hasan's entire act as self-serving LARPing. Asmon didn't even need to get off his chair to turn the internet's gaze from Hasan's performance to Hasan's embarrassment. Reddit threads lit up instantly. Asmon wins without leaving his house. Bro turned Hasan into a joke with one line. Imagine thinking a flashbang and a selfie stick make you a hero. Hasan's so-called gotcha had turned into a self-own. Asmongold, from the safety of his gaming lair, had dismantled the entire act without even raising his voice. The more Hasan spoke, the worse it got. Every time he tried to reclaim the narrative, he came off like a tryhard pretending to be a revolutionary. He moaned about being tear-gassed, yet managed to keep streaming for hours. He babbled about ICE raids, but failed to mention any real solutions. Every sentence felt like a performance. Reddit's r/livestream fail lit up like a Christmas tree. Imagine thinking holding a phone is activism. Hasan's hair is the real victim here. Dude's out there for views, not change. And those were the polite ones. While Hasan was busy chasing flashbangs and drama, real people were risking real consequences. Immigrant families were terrified of the riots masked as protest. The fake activists faced batons, pepper spray, arrests. They weren't worried about hair gel. They were worried about staying out of jail or going back to Mexico. Yet Hasan's coverage rarely focused on them. His lens pointed inward, always coming back to himself, his bravery, his hot takes, his audience. Even when a protester told him they'd been shot at point-blank range, Hasan treated it like another bullet point on his highlight reel. "Show the camera," he muttered, eager to grab the exclusive. It wasn't empathy. It was clickbait. In the end, it wasn't the National Guard that put Hasan in his place. It was his own chat. Viewers tuned in for the spectacle, but the more they watched, the more they saw the cracks. Bro's LARPing like a Hollywood extra. He thinks he's in a documentary. Hasbin's not even there, and he's still winning. The chat was brutal, and they weren't wrong. Hasan had turned a protest into a reality show starring himself. When Asmongold's quote hit the net, Hasan couldn't hold back. He exploded on stream.
"That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard!"
His face turned red, his voice cracked, and his chat loved every second. Some fans cheered him on, but most just sat back and watched the meltdown unfold like a car crash in slow motion. Meanwhile, Asmongold sat in his chair, sipping water and cracking jokes. He didn't need to show up to win. Hasan was doing that job for him. Asmongold's follow-up was even more savage. He called Hasan's protest performance activism, suggesting Hasan was more interested in clout than change. Viewers in Asmon's chat agreed, bombarding Hasan's stream with memes and spam.
"LARPing streamer got owned. Imagine using protest for content."
Bro made it about himself. Every line Asmongold delivered felt like a punchline. So here we are, right back at the start. Hasan, the man who tried to turn a protest into a Twitch highlight, ended up the biggest joke on his own channel. His call out to Asmongold wasn't a challenge, it was a confession that he needed validation, a confession that even in a protest, he couldn't stand the idea of being overshadowed. Hasan wanted to be the hero, but he ended up the clown. The worst part? He didn't even realize it. He walked into the chaos expecting to be celebrated. Instead, he walked out as a cautionary tale, an influencer so desperate for relevance that he made a real protest about himself. Asmongold never needed to show up. He never needed to put on a helmet or wave a sign. All he had to do was sit at his desk and let Hasan do the work for him. Because when the dust settled, the internet had its answer. Hasan wasn't the hero of the protest. He was the punchline, and no amount of flashbangs or angry rants would ever change that. Think Hasan learned his lesson, or is he just getting started? Drop a comment below and let us know. Whose side are you on? And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more brutal takedowns and real talk. Stay tuned.